Open Stage Theatre and Company presents Rabbit Hole Radio Theatre's production of Portals. Episode 4, Shadows, Ghouls, and Other Guests.
Is that the last of it?
Yep.
Phew, good. You sure have a lot of equipment.
Well, thanks for helping me get it up here. Those stairs are murder.
Least I could do. I mean, my art show is getting the best musical talents in town for a song.
A song? Well, in that case, we better renegotiate. I've heard you sing, and it ain't pretty.
Cute. It just doesn't seem fair. You're probably the best guitarist I've ever heard.
Yeah, but you're biased.
I'm serious. You should be playing to arenas of screaming fans, not gallery openings.
Well, it's not my usual gig, but for you, I'll make an exception.
Look, I've been thinking. I want to organize a concert with you as the headliner. What do you think?
Allie, that's sweet, but...
But what?
That's a lot of money you're talking about. I've never played anything bigger than a club. We're talking a PA system, lights...
Orlando, you know as well as I do that Max left me a ton of money in his will.
Yeah, but...
We'll get all that stuff. We'll rent out a huge place and advertise.
Look, let's talk about it later. You've got people arriving, and I need to get playing.
Okay, but just so you know, I'm serious about this.
I know, that's what scares me.
Allie?
Mom! Oh, I'm so happy you came. I didn't think you were going to make it on such short notice.
Well, sweetie, it did require some rescheduling, but I didn't want to miss your big opening.
Thanks. It means a lot to me.
I'm sorry your father couldn't make it. He's in Ohio somewhere making a sale. So much competition these days. I hardly see him at all anymore.
Anymore? I've hardly seen him ever.
Really, Allison, I wish you two would stop squabbling like this. He's been a wonderful provider for us all these years. It's not his fault his work requires him to travel so much.
No, but it is his fault that when he's home, he acts like we're all in his way or something.
Honey, you know how difficult his life has been.
Yeah. Grew up in a cult, blah, blah. Had to adjust to life in modern society. I've heard it all before, Mom.
I just wish you could be more understanding, Allie. Besides, you can't expect someone to be too friendly with a daughter who insults him like you did last year.
What, my name changed?
Of course your name changed. You know how traditional your father is.
Mom, we've already been over and over this. Your maiden name just sounds better. Listen, Allison Crowe or Allison Drake. See? Much better.
If you say so.
And the fact that Dad is a creep was just another reason to do it.
For heaven's sakes, Allison. Well, it certainly is a lovely building you found here.
The coffee shop downstairs is renting it to me for next to nothing. I just thought it'd be way cooler than the gallery on campus.
Oh, yes, I'm sure. So it already had all this lighting?
No way! You should have seen it when we got in here. I think there was a homeless guy squatting in here or something.
Really? So where did the money come from for the renovations?
Well, from me.
And where did you get that kind of money?
Mom, didn't you know about my inheritance?
Inheritance? From whom, Allie?
Well, from Max.
From Max? Crowe?
Mom?
Oh, God. No.
Mom?
When? When did...
You didn't know?
When?
About 2 months ago? Mom, I'm sorry. I assumed you knew. I mean, he was Dad's brother after all.
No, it's all right. It's just such a shock. I need to sit down and settle for a bit.
Mom.
Go. You have guests to see to. I'll be fine. We'll talk about this later.
I'll be back to check on you, okay?
Of course, dear. Chardonnay, please.
Yes, ma'am. There you are.
Thank you.
Why, it can't be. Elizabeth Crowe, my dear, how are you?
Barnaby Briggs.
Whoa!
Just when were you planning on telling me?
My dear Mrs. Crowe, I'm afraid I don't know.
How could you not have told me that Max had died? You tell my daughter, but not me.
Oh, dear.
How could you? You know what he meant to me.
Mrs. Crowe, you must know that it was never my intention to
Intention to do what? To force me to have a breakdown at my daughter's show in front of her friends and colleagues?
Of course not. It was, well, It was never my intention that you find out at all.
I beg your pardon.
Mrs. Crowe, please believe me when I say that this situation is far more complex than it appears.
I'm a smart woman, Mr. Briggs. Try me.
Elizabeth,
And my husband. Does he know as well?
Abraham, I said before, it is all extremely complicated. Dear Lord, what's he doing here? Please do accept my heartfelt apologies for the shock you must have received. You'll have to excuse me. Someone has just touched me.
Barnaby, where do you think you're going? This isn't over, Barnaby! Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. Sorry.
Indeed. It is Miss Drake's exploration of the darker aspects of the human experience that I find so fascinating.
I agreed. I understand some of the faculty is not as impressed, however.
That is unfortunate. I don't imagine you would know who exactly.
I believe Miss Drake's advisor, Miss Danforth, is especially displeased.
Danforth, you say? Well, perhaps I should speak with her.
Calaban, my good man, might I have a word with you?
Indeed, Mr. Briggs. Excuse me.
What gives you the gall to burden Allison with your ghoulish presence here?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize this was an invitation-only event.
Save your sarcasm for that withered old fiend you so lovingly refer to as Master.
The relationship between a warrior and his liege is a sacred one, Mr. Briggs. Perhaps if you had understood that, your current responsibilities would be a bit more engaging than lounging around a dingy office, mourning the loss of your swashbuckling companion.
I demand to know why you are here.
As a representative of Royce and Associates, it's my responsibility to keep a close eye on our investments. You should know that. The fact that I'm also quite taken with Ms. Drake's work is merely a bonus.
Allison is not an investment to be monitored by you or Royce. Now, if I so much as catch the faintest whiff of your presence near Allison, I will not be responsible for my actions. Have I made myself abundantly clear?
Mr. Briggs, you mustn't allow yourself to become too excited. You may need that energy later, if the rumors about today's event are true.
Rumors? What rumors?
Patience, Mr. Briggs, patience. It's a surprise. You do like surprises, don't you?
As a matter of fact, Calaban, I do not.
Pity. Bartender, a Merlot, please.
Here you are, sir.
Thank you so much.
Calaban?
Good afternoon, Mrs. Danforth.
Good afternoon, Allison. I must say, if we were basing your grade on presentation, you'd likely be the highest in your class.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Danforth. I did work very hard on it.
I said if your grade were based on presentation. As you know, it isn't.
Yes, Mrs. Danforth.
Oh, good. I suppose I should make the rounds and start critiquing your pieces. I must say, however, that just looking around right now, I'm a little bit disappointed.
Oh? Why?
Well, many of the pieces seem to have been slapped together in a couple of days. Just what have you been doing all semester, Ella?
I'm so sorry, Mrs. Danforth. I don't know if you heard, but my studio was vandalized a couple weeks ago, and I had to scramble to restore most of the pieces. I just hope you can keep that in mind as you look at them.
Well, I'll do my best. But I don't feel it would be fair to the other graduate students to give you any kind of special leniency.
No, of course not.
I'm glad you understand, Allison. How exactly were the pieces damaged?
It's really weird. It was more like they, scraped off the parts they didn't like. I had whole figures and objects removed. It was really kind of violating.
Well, perhaps if your subject matter weren't so disturbing, people wouldn't feel compelled to do those things. Have you ever thought about that? Just look around you. Shadows and ghouls and menacing presences.
Yeah, and then there are my paintings.
Well, I'm glad you have a sense of humor at least. Do think about what I said. You're a very technically gifted artist, Allison, but you're a grown-up now. It's time to start painting more grown-up things.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And help yourself to some wine if you'd like. We have some Merlot.
Maybe later, but thank you anyway. Excuse me.
Okay, good luck. Oh, please, please like it.
Hey, kid! Oh, why the long face?
Kayla, where have you been? I was getting worried.
I got a late start. I was waiting for my guy to finish his video game.
Your guy? Mark, right?
No, Mark is so last week. This guy's name is Chuck, and he's totally into kickboxing video games. We kinda got caught up in a grudge match and lost track of time.
Right. So, where is he?
Oh, he isn't here. He thinks this stuff is a major yawn fest.
Well, you made it. That's the important thing.
Hey, gotta make sure my girl gets her respect, right?
Thanks.
But I can't stay long. Chuck thinks I'm out buying beer.
Michaela?
What?
Nothing. Look, I've got to mingle with the guests. Help yourself to some wine.
Okay, I'll be around.
Miss Drake? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I frighten you?
I'll say. Where did you... Wait, didn't we meet in Sabrea? It was, Mr. Keyes, right? Solomon Keyes?
I am pleased you haven't forgotten.
You're the High Priest of New Eden. I didn't expect you here, but welcome.
Thank you. Tell me, is your friend enjoying my gift?
My friend. Orlando? Oh, yeah. He hardly puts it down. He's playing right now, but he'll be taking a break any minute if you'd like to talk to him.
That would be a most definite pleasure, of course, but actually it is you who I've come to see.
Me?
Well, I am, as you know, a patron of the arts, but as the patriarch of my order, I feel it is within my duties to welcome new Riftwalkers to the fold as they become aware of their abilities.
To the fold?
Perhaps I've chosen the wrong word. Don't worry, child. A collection plate is not forthcoming. But you must know there are powerful forces at work in the many worlds. Those who seek out Riftwalkers and embrace them, and those who wish to stamp them out entirely. I understand you have already had a brush or two with the latter.
A brush? Well, you could say that.
Then you understand. You must be ever vigilant with your trust. All is not always as it seems.
I'm beginning to feel that way a lot recently.
Now listen to me. Speaking of such matters on your day of accomplishment, I'm sure we can discuss such things another time. Have you given any thought to visiting us at New Eden?
Not exactly. I've been a little overwhelmed lately. I just need some time to get some things figured out, you know?
Ah, yes. Time. Scores of lifetimes come and go. There never seems to be enough,
I really appreciate the invitation, Father Keyes.
Just know you can rely on me should you ever require assistance or guidance from someone who has walked your path for many years. You are not alone.
Thank you. You have no idea what that means to me.
All right, folks, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back in 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh, he's finished. Orlando, there's someone here who wants to see you.
Hi. Oh, Mr. Keyes, right? Hey, I play that fire harp every night. That was a hell of a gift. Thank you.
Well, I do have a weakness for true talent.
He is talented, isn't he?
Oh, yes. A gift like his comes along only once or twice a millennium.
Okay, you guys, you can cut it out now.
Actually, we were just talking about how I'm going to promote his music with a concert.
That sounds like an excellent idea.
Now, wait a minute. We have.
If you would be so kind as to excuse me, I am eager to see your work, Ms. Drake.
You can call me Allie. And please, enjoy yourself.
Very well. Allie. Blessings upon you both.
Wow, that Solomon Keyes is something else.
Yeah, no kidding. So, sounds like we're all decided on me funding that show, right?
Yeah, it sure sounds that way.
Perfect. I'll call Royce tomorrow and set up an account or something.
You might be able to do it right now. I saw that weird sword guy shuffling around here somewhere.
Calaban?
Yeah, that's him. He was really chatting up Danforth a while back. I don't know what her problem was, but she sure was smiling when they got done.
Well, that can only be good. She wasn't happy when I talked to her earlier.
Problem?
Oh, she's all right. I think she's got really high expectations of my artwork.
You got nothing to worry about, Allie.
We'll see.
Hey, join me for a drink? You're buying.
Nah, I've had enough. Somehow I don't think the artist should get sloppy drunk at her own show.
Wow, if I thought like that, I probably never have picked up a guitar.
Well, anyway, the wine I've had is telling me it's ready to leave, so if you'd be so kind as to excuse me, Mr. Waters, I must retire to the powder room.
Well, I'll just hold down the bar till you get back.
And they say chivalry is dead. What's going on out there?
God, what is those?
What is the meaning of this?
Oh, bloody hell, not again. Everybody run!
I've got to get out there. The door's jammed.
Okay, boys, round 2.
Michaela, you can't.
Watch me.
Michaela!
Draconis Sakai, Tentagra,
Go away! Go away!
Tendagra Tirmotash Draconis, Javas Tibron, Subragatan Deal,
No! Help!
Ranash to Rod!
Sathal, Shinsada Nurakturan, Sadak Gavarka.
Good Lord, it's them. Who? The Shadow God of New Eden.
Will one of you please help me with Michaela?
Yes, ma'am.
This is even more entertaining than I'd anticipated.
I don't believe it. Calaban, you knew this was going to happen?
We at Royce and Associates take it upon ourselves to know as much as possible about as much as possible.
Allison, my child, are you all right?
Yes.
Allie, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. What happened to Kayla?
She tried to stop them. She jumped right into it.
She's not breathing. Somebody call 911.
I'm on it.
That won't be necessary. If you could just stand back a bit, everyone.
Oh man, what happened?
Kayla.
She will be fine, I assure you.
But how?
I must accompany my soldiers. The Tenexor are tenacious. We will make sure they do not return.
Okay, thank you.
Visit me, Allison. We have much to discuss. Shadow Guard, follow me.
So, what did I miss?
How's your head, Kayla?
Surprisingly fine. How long was I out?
Not that long, I guess. I'm just glad you're in one piece.
All right. 1 raspberry latte for Michaela and a cafe mocha for Allison.
Thanks, Barney.
Allie, isn't your mom joining us?
No, she took off. Said she had to talk to my dad. She didn't know about Max before tonight.
So, how did she react to the whole Tenexor smashing up the place and Black Army appearing from nowhere thing?
She seemed okay with it. Mom's always been one to roll with things. Oh, I just can't believe my dad didn't tell her about Uncle Max.
Well, assuming he even knew.
Okay, Barnaby, what's going on?
Sorry?
Yeah, Barnaby. Demons and priests and lawyers. Things are definitely getting weird.
And unhealthy.
So why don't you catch us up, okay? I'd really like to know what the deal is with Solomon Keyes and New Eden.
Well, I can tell you they're a Reconstructionist faith. They believe they can restore the worlds to a sort of pristine condition.
You mean before all the realities fell apart?
Well, yes. That's their view, anyway. New Eden represents the reintegration of all the worlds and all the beings of the Omniverse. It's a new beginning.
Sounds pretty harmless. Keyes doesn't look like the militant religious type.
Well, there have been rumors that he has ruthlessly quashed opposition both within his organization and without.
Is this where the Black Watch comes in?
The Shadow Guard? Yes, allegedly they're his personal army. There are rumors of their skill and discipline, but until I saw them today, I honestly didn't even believe they existed.
Oh, they exist, all right.
So Keyes has an army. Personally, I'm glad he does after today.
So is there a connection between Keyes and the Tenexor?
Hardly. More like a religious war. They have utterly incompatible paradigms about the nature of the rift. The Order of New Eden believes the rift is a kind of cosmic accident, a wound that needs mending.
And the Tenexor?
Well, it's not like the Tenexor dogma is a published doctrine, Allison, but as near as I can figure, their stand is that the splintering of the worlds was part of the divine plan. Not a corruption of it, a sort of a fili culpa, if you will.
It was weird. They were all gung-ho for killing me, but one of them, he said, forgive me.
How do you know what... Oh, right. You have that Riftwalker translation thing going for you.
Yeah. Barnaby, you were saying the Tenexor were mercenaries, but They weren't behaving like hired guns.
Well, the Tenek Sur culture is one of the great mysteries of the Rift.
You'll figure it out, babe. Just keep the aspirin handy, okay?
So that's New Eden and the Tenek Sur. What's up with that neo-goth dude from the lawyer's office?
You must mean Calaban, that mewling little cur.
Yikes, Barney. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, what was his deal?
To be perfectly honest, I don't know. He did, however, seem to have some prior knowledge of what was to happen at the gallery today.
He knew? How? And why didn't he stop it?
Well, first off, he is Calaban, and Calaban is a mean-spirited, smug, selfish little crab. And secondly, he works for Royce, who makes Calaban look positively benevolent. At least, that's his reputation.
Whoa.
Mr. B, is there something you're not telling us?
Yeah, what gives?
Oh, very well. I used to work for Royce and Associates until I was replaced by that chalky little wraith Calaban.
You worked for Royce? What happened?
Let's just say my loyalty to the organization became compromised and we parted ways.
Mr. B, were you a disgruntled employee,
Believe me when I say they are not to be trusted. Royce and Associates have their hands in everything.
Okay, Royce is off the to-be-trusted list. But Father Keys was pretty cool. I think we should make plans to visit Keys sometime soon. I'm betting he can help us out a lot. Just a sec. Hello? Oh, Mrs. Danforth, are you okay? Performance art? What? No, Mrs. Danforth, I had nothing to do with it. No, please, I can do another. What? Yes, I understand, Mrs. Danforth. I'll be right down. Okay. I'll see you in a few minutes.
What was that all about?
She thinks I organized that mess upstairs as some sort of half-baked performance piece.
What? That's crazy!
That's what I said, but she's not buying it. She's talking about having me expelled.
Oh, no.
How dreadful.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
Wow, you're taking this pretty well. I'd expect you to be sobbing by now.
You know, I would too. But with everything going on these days, I think I've just lost the ability to be shocked. Maybe it's for the best anyway.
Don't say that. Painting is your life.
Well, it was my life. Now I just don't know anymore. Anyway, I gotta go. Danforth and the department chair want to see me right away.
Hold on, I'll go with you.
Me too.
No, that's okay, Kayla. You need to go home and rest. Lando and I have it covered.
Okay. I guess I'll just sit here and chill with Barney.
Barnaby. You know, there is no legal precedent for wagering one's name on a game of backgammon.
Well, then I guess you established one, 'cause you bet and you lost.
Well, as long as we're chillin', perhaps you'd be gracious enough to grant me a rematch.
You're on.